As students head back to college this year, some will be doing more than just the usual coursework. Special correspondent Kat Wise has a story about a group of student inventors trying to make their mark. Part of our weekly series covering the leading edge of science and technology.
Music, wine, and ideas were flowing at an event in Portland, Oregon that brought together college students from around the country who've all been hard at work between classes and tests inventing the next big thing.
Other companies use our software to empower their hardware.
While the atmosphere was festive, there was some serious business going on. 14 teams pitched their inventions to invited guests who were playing the role of venture investors for the evening, with venture bucks to invest in the ballot boxes of their favorite startups.
Back the team that you think is going to change the world.
There were plenty of cool ideas to choose from, like a low-cost water contamination detection system from an all-woman team of engineers at Santa Clara University, and a device to help babies with respiratory distress syndrome in low-resource hospitals, developed by students at Western Michigan University.
Well, they can get this much cheaper.
There was even a group from a local high school trying to tackle another common problem in many parts of the world: lack of electricity to charge cell phones.
We made a thermoelectric generator that can be used in open fire to generate electricity while cooking. The metal rod right here will go directly into the pot they're using for cooking, and the heat will go from the rod into the thermoelectric generators that will generate electricity from the heat.
Many of the products on display are still in the early stages of development, and some build on ideas that are already in the marketplace. But a few of the teams have created things never invented before.
So that's a dye, but we also have additional additives in our formula.
Catherine Jen is part of the Kenos team from Columbia University. She and her two co-founders, who are also her classmates, were inspired when they saw a need for better disinfection methods during the Ebola crisis in Africa.
One of the current problems with the way people decontaminate today is that disinfectants are clear and transparent, so you can't see where you're spraying. They bounce off waterproof surfaces just like rain off an umbrella.
After some late nights and a lot of trial and error, they developed Highlight, a powder that adds temporary color to bleach and enhances adhesion to surfaces. Jason Kang, a biomedical engineering major, gave me a demo.
What we're going to do is we're going to add Highlight directly to the bleach. So I've poured it in here. So once you add the powder, it's really simple. You just mix it and it just dissolves instantly.
Okay, so what's the surface here that you're going to spray?
Yeah, so this is actually a square cut from one of the suits that doctors will wear when they're treating patients in the field. So I'm going to spray it on here. So you can see that it fully covers the surface. It's really easy to see where you've sprayed. It has a nice sticky coverage. It'll trap the viruses or the bacteria and kill them.
The event was sponsored by a nonprofit called VentureWell that provides financial backing and training for student-run startups. The organization is funded by the Lemelson Foundation, which also helps fund the NewsHour.
I'm going to use that.
Over the course of 2 days leading up to the competition, students and supportive faculty attended a variety of skill-building workshops.
The theme of today is really around communication and managing how you're perceived. So our theme here is how to help your ideas shine. Every single person is going to have a 1-minute pitch and a 5-word pitch.
But yours is more like electronically.
Teams mixed up and shared their ideas with their peers. Luke Neese is a former police officer and a recent Texas A&M grad who has developed a system to detect gunshots using sound waves.
I started off looking at what was available in the gunshot detection market, and everything was ridiculously expensive.
What Physical does is we integrate resistance bands and panels into compression tights.
Keith Smart developed his sportswear product while at Columbia Business School. He also happens to be a former professional fencer who won silver at the Beijing Olympics. Smart launched his company last year with the help of $150,000 in crowdfunding. But he says it is still hard to get the word out.
We know that once we show this product to people, they'll love it. But getting it out there is a big challenge for most entrepreneurs.
Christina Tamer knows well the challenges that student entrepreneurs face.
What's the problem that you face?
She's a program officer with VentureWell.
First of all, they're young, so they have a tougher time being taken seriously. So having our support in terms of, having someone to bounce ideas off of, check their assumptions, look through the materials, be a coach and a mentor.
For their part, the Kenos team is moving full steam ahead with Highlight, which they've been field testing in West Africa. We caught up with them in New York as they were making a new batch in a Columbia University engineering lab. They also had upcoming exams to think about.
I think all of us have, at this point, sacrificed a test grade or even a class at the end of the day to complete something we need to get done for the company.
All of their hard work is starting to pay off. They've got their first customer, not overseas as you might expect, but here in the U.S. The New York City Fire Department, which had its own Ebola scare.
As New York City, we are one of the entry points for world travelers, especially world travelers from West Africa. So clearly this was on our agenda to prepare to be able to respond effectively and safely.
Dr. David Prezant is the Chief Medical Officer for the FDNY. He says Highlight has filled a big need for the department.
Now you have an EMS worker in full protective equipment. Knowing that protective equipment is really good. But now when he's sprayed or she's sprayed with the bleach, they're able to look at their equipment, their hand, their glove, and they see it's blue.
Back in Portland, as the evening competition wrapped up, the teams who received the most venture bucks were announced.
Okay, this is what we've been waiting for. The first prize, with 96 million venture bucks, they'll be getting $1,000, and it goes to it goes to Kinos.
The team enjoyed their win and then quickly got back to work. A few days later, they were headed to Europe to meet with the World Health Organization and Doctors Without Borders. For the PBS NewsHour, I'm Kat Wise in Portland, Oregon.
The Kenos team recently graduated from Columbia University, and the three are now working full-time on their product. The story is part of our regular breakthrough coverage of invention and innovation.